those of you who don't know Safaraz, and then I'll go into why I've got him here. So Safaraz is the founder and the CEO of the Pathway Group.
Thank you.
It's a skills training organisation, and we'll go into that in a few minutes. You're also an author. You've written three books from what I remember. They're great books. And you're also a contributor and a fantastic, I'll tell you, some of the articles you write for the Business Influencer magazine are just really good. And the books are called Canny Bites, aren't they?
Canny Bites, yeah.
And because they're short,
short bites,
and they're straight to the point, and really, really good. So great, honestly, that some of the articles you write in here are just so good around leadership and learning. And of course, you're also a podcaster. A very good podcast, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, I'm trying.
I enjoy it. Now,
I'm on that journey.
Now, the reason why I was trying to pin you down for months is that you have a really good take on one of the big productivity puzzles hitting this country, which is skills. So we're not going to get productivity up of the UK economy till we get skills right. And you do have a good 360 view of the whole skills agenda. But before I go into drilling into the skills agenda, you're an entrepreneur. So I suppose the question I'm going to ask you is, how did you end up in the skills industry? So, that's not just every Tom, Dick and Harry decides to specialise in skills. So just go through your early entrepreneurial journey. What brought you?
I think just on that, Ninder, I mean, if I was to badge myself, I would put down social entrepreneur.
Okay,
so not just entrepreneur, but social entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I look for the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives.
Okay.
So the business interests that I'm currently involved in are all about care, skills, foster care, those sort of areas where it's about training, retraining people, recruitment, health and social care, foster care, and everything to do with really trying to make a difference to people's lives. So it's more about social entrepreneurship, social enterprise, as opposed to entrepreneurship in terms of buying and selling and the wheeling dealing type. It's not necessarily that end of it. Nothing against that, but it's more about people and making a difference. And my background is banking and finance, banking and financial services.
Which is interesting.
Yes, which is completely different, more about capitalism and so forth.
That's right.
And I did that for many years. And then I started by chance, really, giving some time to community organisations, voluntary organisations and local colleges. And one of the issues really was about community engagement and about making a difference. So really, then this is where the entrepreneurship comes in, about grabbing the opportunity, seeing the opportunity, and looking at the public sector and trying to give them best value. So most of all our businesses are really involved in some way of servicing the public sector. So we're a private entity, we call it profit for purpose. So we're a private enterprise, private organisation, but we're working in the public sector. But we supply services to the public sector. So that's where our focus is, and that's where I would say we thrive in terms of that end of the market.
So does that mean then that you're in existence because the public sector can't do it?
We look to add value. So the public sector talk about more trying to get efficiency savings, lean, agile, responsive. And one way to do that is creating a competitive environment. So we're in public procurement, and this is where the public sector is creating a competitive environment, looking for people who are innovative, who can bring innovation, who can bring efficiency savings, who can actually give more for less. And it's a constant drive to actually improve, innovate. It's small improvements, not necessarily big, massive improvements, but small, gradual improvements in technology and how we do things. And it's about continuously getting, more for less, and get, the quality word comes in, efficiency savings come in, innovation comes in, and all of these sort of themes come in terms of our market. So it's about working in partnership, which again is a key word, and really trying to deliver to the public sector in the best interest of the public sector.
So let's give an example then.
Yeah.
Let's give an example. You do a range.
So
of
we do
things.
health and social care. So
give
so
an example.
so the health and social care is one example. So we provide domiciliary care, home care. So we've been doing that since 2005. The home care market traditionally used to be one where it was social services predominantly as commissioners, but also as delivery. So they were in the front line delivering. So all your care workers, all your frontline people were employed by the local authorities. So they've moved that system now to public procurement. So now you've got independent providers who are coming in tendering for this. And what they found is that the United Kingdom Home Care Association (UKHCA) did a study where they said previously 1 hour of care that was provided was costing the local authorities around 27 to 28 pounds, but in the private sector it was around 13 to 14 pounds. So you've got efficiency savings there. I mean, obviously the numbers have changed, but it gives you an idea of what difference can that make, and all of that benefit is then going into the public sector. So the public sector focus on what they do best, which is really the commissioning, the strategy, and ensuring that everybody gets looked after, and then the private sector comes in and really looks at driving the innovation and the change. That's just the one example. We've got the other side of the business, Pathway, which is where I focus most of my efforts in, and we're currently a service provider for Restart, which is a government contract. So this is work program. Used to be we've heard all of these terms like flexible New Deal back in the day, New Deal, flexible New Deal. Then we had the work program. So these are initiatives of getting people into employment. So you've got your Department for Work and Pensions, you've got Job Centre who obviously work to try and get people into employment, and then you've got the private organisations and third sector organisations are also big in this market, who are then focusing on getting people into work. And we get paid on a payment by results basis. So the risk is transferred predominantly from the public sector, and we as private sector organisations or third sector organisations then have to look at how do we get the results. And for us it's about results. Ultimately the results then allow us to get more work, because obviously your reputation, your credibility, your performance then will give you the opportunity to stay in the market, survive in the market, and hopefully thrive.
So what you do then, in effect, is you save taxpayers like me money, because more of my money would be going to the public sector, but you're replacing them, doing it more efficiently, so they can then use that money elsewhere.
Yeah.
So the question I suppose I'm going to ask you is, at the end of the financial year, what do you judge your performance on? Impact or the profit and loss account?
So impact, we have to look at our impact. That's absolutely a word that we use in our vocabulary. We use that on a daily basis. Everything's about social impact. Everything's about giving the results, the outcomes. And those outcomes are our deliverables, and that's again our KPIs, key performance indicators. It's in our contract. We live and breathe that, and that's the first thing that for us. We don't deliver our outcomes, we don't deliver our results. We're not here this time next year, because public procurement or any procurement works on results, on performance. You've got to re-tender, and a lot of that is based on performance, on your track record. So so absolutely vital in terms of for us to understand the social value that we give, understand the impact, understand the outcomes, and understand really the deliverables, and really deliver even more value wherever we can. So continuously looking at that, and to continuously on our feet in terms of ensuring the fact that we can hold our head high and say we are delivering more than the contract.
So a social entrepreneur, as you coined the term, means you have a much more balanced scorecard in assessing your performance than a typical private sector enterprise, who probably would look at balance sheet, liquidity ratios, and would look at profit and loss account. You look at a much wider range of measures, but you have the same stresses as the normal entrepreneurs in the private sector. Any dark moments?
Of course, there's many of those. I mean, to talk about impact. I mean, you've heard the phrase, turnover is vanity, profit
Yeah.
is sanity, cash
Yeah.
flow is king.
Yeah.
We've just added impact is the main thing.
Oh, nice.
So in our business, we
Nice.
talk. So we use that term.
Yeah, nice.
Whenever we talk about managers, and we say, well, impact is the main thing. Let's go back to that. If you get that right, it's like
Yeah.
it's like in your business. If you get the quality right, you get the customer service right, everything else then just fits in. So that's definitely that. I mean, we work in an environment where commissioners, we understand their frustrations, understand their pains, understand the fact that the public sector is really stretched. You're trying to get that balance right to say, we need to earn a living, earn a crest. We need to deliver the services that we've got, but it's also about giving that extra value and so forth. And people talk about or think the fact that there's a perception there that the public sector is not good at negotiation. Let me tell you, Ninder, they're tough negotiators.
Yeah.
They've got real tough negotiations. So this is what they do on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's just a myth there. In terms of the public sector doesn't know how to procure from the private sector or doesn't know how to procure services. Very tough negotiators, and continuously looking for that innovation, continuously looking for challenges. So it's that element where we regard them as stakeholders. They're our customer as well. We're in partnership with them, but at the same time, it's that relationship where it's continuously stretched and challenged. And there are many, but what I will say is that they keep us on our toes, they keep us on our feet, and it is a very challenging environment. And I say if anybody can work in health and social care or any sort of public procurement in terms of frontline health, in terms of the skills agenda, then more or less they can work in most of the other fields. Foster care is another one at this moment in time where it's going the way where home care has been, where a lot of foster care presently is still in the public domain in terms of the local authorities have got foster care teams, and they're still controlling an element of that, and they're moving that away now a little bit towards the private sector as well, because they can fix their costs. When you're in the public sector as well, you're employing people, and you've got all the risk. And whether you find the foster carers or not, you're carrying the weight of the staffing and so forth, and the marketing and the advertising and so forth, and you can really transfer that and fix your cost. So you pay the independent foster care agencies a set fee per week. Once they're successful, and if a placement breaks or something else doesn't happen, then your costs stop as well. So there's a way of fixing your costs, and it's a fantastic way, a fantastic partnership to have, and that's our field really, and that's it's very enjoyable, but it does keep you on your toes.
You talk about the range of services.
Yeah.
You what, 150, 160 people work with you?
So in the pathway business, we've got 150 people, 160 people. In the nationwide business, which is slightly bigger, we're around 850 people there.
Wow.
And covering the Midlands. So that's it's a people business. So we get paid on the hours that we do. Currently, we're delivering around 25,000 hours. We've just hit 21 million turnover on that business. So that's a slightly bigger business, and the skills business is slightly differently structured because you get your focus is on the training and so forth. So it's got less people, but again delivers the same sort of value and impact that we try and do on the care business.